Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Gilliland, co-founder of the Legal Geeks. We are entering the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. And to cel
Yay!
and to celebrate, we're going to talk about at least once a month a different Trek episode. And that's not including Starfleet Academy. So stay tuned. We're going to get a little wild and crazy. With me to talk about our first episode in this series is Judge Dana Nicholas. I will say this.
Sorry.
Our opinions reflected here do not reflect upon our employers, the state of California, all of those things. Your Honor, how are you?
Great. I cannot wait. This is going to be a fabulous year. This is super exciting. And again, this doesn't offer any legal advice. So this is just a fantasy world. We're applying law just kind of in a vacuum to a fake scenario. I know we all believe Star Trek is real, but it's not real law for you.
But it's a reflection of what could be,
Exactly.
and the reason that they have this positive future is because of laws that respect people and respect civil rights and showing that individuals coming from radically different backgrounds can all be together and respect each other's values and celebrate what they have in common. And the first episode we're going to dive in on is Journey to Babel, which is from the original series, season two. It's one of my favorite episodes because it sets up so much that we're going to see later in movies and great character interaction. And there's some really good feel-good moments, in addition to some hard cuts that don't make sense. So I don't know what happened with some of the editing with this one, but there's so many good feelings associated with this episode.
Absolutely. I completely agree. There's also some lack of science. This is before they got a lot of science people on board with Star Trek, and so it's kind of a funny look back on the idea before we went to a more scientifically sound show. But I do love it because it helps to deepen the characters that we grow to love later on in the entire series. So you're absolutely right. This is a great, great episode. And it's very interesting sociologically because at the time that this episode originally aired, there were a lot of things going on as far as civil rights were concerned and internationally. And so this shows that people can get along. And I think that's awesome.
And I mean, it has some of the wonderful character moments that establish, it's the esprit de corps between the main three, and it's some of the best acting that Leonard Nimoy gives in the series, and we'll talk about that with some of the specific scenes with some of the legal overtones. But it also having the characters without emotion have a deep father-son scene is priceless because Mark Leonard and Leonard Nimoy do such a good job as this father-son dynamic where there's estrangement and how um, there is love. I'm like, but it's not like how we interpret it. But for anyone who had a boomer dad, oh, that hits hard, and that's familiar. So there's a lot of good stuff here. So let's jump in. Let's board the Enterprise, and normally the Enterprise would have a crew of 435, like that. That's what we hear in the original series. Pike's era, it's a little less, couple hundred less, but they have 200 ambassadors on board. So that would be a very full ship. And we don't know if they offloaded some crew to make space or if we have people bunking up. Like normally two people are in here. Now six are staying in here in order to make room for ambassadors and their entourages. So like we don't know how that's all playing out, but that'd be a very full ship. And there's the comment about half the ambassadors are mad at the other half. There's this diplomatic dispute over admission of Corridon to the Federation. And it raises the issue of what is diplomatic immunity? And so the issue is, do all the ambassadors have diplomatic immunity aboard the USS Enterprise? and I've done a little research into this, but Your Honor, do you want to take the first swipe at some of the diplomatic immunity issues here?
Well, I'll let you take the first swing at this, yeah, go ahead, take the first swing at this one.
Thank you. So, looking at the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, it states that believing that an international convention on diplomatic intercourse, privileges, and immunities would contribute to the development of friendly relations among nations, irrespective of their differing constitutional and social systems. Realizing that the purpose of such privileges and immunities is not to benefit individuals, but to ensure the efficient performance of the functions of diplomatic missions as representing states. And then this gets into the wonderful fun issues that have been in pop culture and real life, where we have diplomats with unpaid parking tickets, we have Lethal Weapon, and in the plot in the first one there, where the bad guy says diplomatic immunity. Like, it's a thing, but it has to be part of the diplomatic mission. It's some of it's like the speech and debate clause for members of Congress. Like you can have an argument and argue about things, or if you're in court, like we have a similar privilege there of being able to articulate the arguments about whether it's breach of contract or a family law matter. Like that doesn't amount to slander because you're in court, and being able to express what's going on of these are the allegations of the complaint. That's not actionable because it's part of the lawsuit. So these ambassadors on the diplomatic mission, it then turns into, well, do they have diplomatic immunity? And I think the answer is yeah. As long as it's part of the diplomatic mission, they have diplomatic immunity. But some of that can go out of the window because this is like, it's not just nation states, they're all part of the federation. So it's like states. It'd be someone from California and someone from Nevada, like, and if you have a assembly member from California and assembly member from Nevada and they're having a discussion, if are they both talking in their official capacity? Are they having a legitimate debate, which is different than Congress people having that type of debate? It's part of their job to have this discussion. And the issue of, do we admit this other planet that has all these dilithium mines into the Federation? That's a legitimate discussion. And if there's piracy taking place or illegal mining taking place, that's all fair game for people to talk about. Uh,
Absolutely.
any other thoughts on this since we have ambassadors running around left and right?
Well, I would say that the Enterprise is akin to the United Nations building or the Hague or any place else. So just because it's moving through space, I don't think that it would, um, you know, take away that diplomatic immunity. Now, when you start to do other things like murder people, well, that's a problem.
Yeah, you don't get to go diplomatic immunity at that point. So we have uh, a Tellarite ambassador who's murdered. Like his body is found in a Jeffries tube. That's not like fall down, go boom. That's not like he had a stroke. That's not like some medical incident took place. Somebody killed him.
And
And
I always wanted to know how he fit in that Jeffries tube.
yeah,
Just saying.
somebody strong picked him up and put him in feet first. Like it's a very undignified death for an ambassador. Like he's representing a planet, and whatever disagreements that other ambassadors could have with him, the point of having a federation is you can talk out your problems. You might not always agree, and you're not always going to win each debate. Sometimes you're going to lose. It'd be weird if you were on the winning side of every issue every time. That's life. But you shouldn't be murdered. And the facts from the episode showing the murder is Ambassador Gav confronted Sarek over the admission of Corridon, and it was right. There are two incidences of this. Savick eventually, in the second encounter, says he favors admission. Sarek identified issues on the benefits of the admission. Uh, Sarek raised issues of who could be doing some underground illegal trading, shipments of the lithium after mining. Gav accused Sarek of slander. Gav then attacks Sarek. Sarek blocks the attack. And then it's after that we see Gav found in the turbo or the Jeffrey's tube with a broken neck, similar to a Vulcan style of execution called Tal Shara, which would all go to, hey, I think a Vulcan did this. And, uh, Your Honor, would there be probable cause at this point to have an arrest warrant for Ambassador Sarek for the death of Ambassador Gav?
I, I don't know that there would be at this point, based on that small amount of circumstantial evidence, but there would certainly be enough evidence to conduct a search, right? If they wanted to search his quarters, do testing to see if maybe he had some tellurite, blue on his hand, or whatever, uh, any type of DNA or something. There would be sufficient evidence for that. But to arrest, maybe, maybe not. It would be very, very fact specific. But I just, based on what we see in the episode, I'd probably say no.
Yeah, there's, I think, enough for testing. And, this is 19, it's made in 66, 67. So we have Miranda on the books. We have a bunch of the other search cases have become law from the Supreme Court as well by this point. But the police and police investigation would be like, are there fingerprints on the neck? Like, like they seem a little quick at going like, well, this is a Vulcan style form of execution, but like there's no dusting for prints. And by the time that McCoy's there, the body's out of the Jeffries tube. So it's like, do you guys not know how to do an investigation? Like, is there just weird CSI, the lack of a CSI type theme when this episode was written in 1967?
And it's the lack of science and forethought in the early episodes. They really were trying hard, and it was a great try, but they forget things like at the time they were able to communicate with people throughout the ship, so that indicates they know where people are. You're able to transport people often on the ship. You know where people are located, so it would be pretty easy to track an ambassador to determine where on the ship they were at the time. And so they could probably easily clear Sarek, unless for some reason none of the ambassadors had they were able to track any of the ambassadors. But there's one of the things that I'm like, ugh, we can move people around, we can locate where communications are coming from, but we just can't figure out where Sarek was during that whole incident.
Yeah, you think there'd be a better tracking system because you don't want to lose anyone on board,
Absolutely.
especially if you have 200 VIPs and like they're all the chance for argument is high. So you think you would be on your toes uh, for that situation.
And with 200 extra bodies on the ship, it's not likely that they're going to have extra space where somebody could kill someone and then shove a very heavy person into a Jeffries tube.
Yeah, it's like how is there empty space? Like how do
Exactly.
you again, ships have empty spaces, they have void spaces, but if you have a crew of like if it's an aircraft carrier where it's like modern aircraft carrier 5,000 people,
Right.
that's a lot of people. And if it's a destroyer, it's like, oh, look, we have a crew of 300. It's still 300 people. Like, you don't, it's like, here's an empty part where no one happens to be at this specific time. That's weird. Possible.
Right.
Weird. Um, so,
You have to ask, on ships that size, you have to ask people to leave your thoughts in order for you to change your mind. That's
yeah,
how close the people are in the quarters.
yeah, it's like, and we're passing. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, it'd be a tight fit. But when our heroes question Ambassador Sarek, he has a medical incident. And it was like basically a heart failure type situation, a cardiac arrest. And and he says, I was having one of these while that ambassador was being murdered. That's so a scan could be able to verify that.
That's very true.
And so being able to go like, okay, medically, it was not possible for him to be doing that because he would have been incapacitated on the deck and all of that would be bad. And so you would go, okay, there could be a medical certainty to rule him out as a suspect, which is a good thing. So now we have Spock's mom is adorable. She is pure mom. And watching the interplay with kind of the playful mom and the very stoic son is is wonderful. And we get to see that again in Star Trek 4, a couple decades later. And we have Amanda disclose to McCoy that Spock had a teddy bear, a Salic. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but a very something with 6-inch fangs, something that you're not
Right.
going to be late feeding. Again, it's like having here's my pet bear, and like we don't.
It was her God-given right as a mother to embarrass him.
Yeah, and
Period.
I'm
That's
glad
it.
you, as I know you're a mom, you can say that, and I know there are a lot of moms who relish that moment. Bunch of aunts too, seen it,
It's payback.
experienced it. But no, there are some of the older forms of slander. So there's concepts of things, causes of action like false light, disclosure of private facts. I don't think we have that here. Like saying like he was very fond of his teddy bear and and it was named Yogi, or no one's gonna go like, okay, man, that was kind of cute. Like, why sounds like a nice childhood. Like, why would you? Um, but again, that leads to a really nice scene with Sarek saying like, you embarrassed our son, and her going like, you're proud of him, and he's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, so again, it's pure boomer dad energy, but man, is it so good of the dads that don't know how to express, I'm proud of my child. Like, I can only express affection by talking about tire pressure, like that kind of,
They're
and then
like, oh, you did a good job with this tire pressure, or they just give you the nod. They check it out and they go, okay. But that brings up a really good, another good, really good issue with mom disclosing that. I truly believe that moms get the opportunity to embarrass their children because their children embarrass them. But she didn't violate any HIPAA laws. So she wasn't saying, he had some communicable disease. She wasn't providing his private medical history. He had a heart attack when he was 12. Nothing of that nature. It's just her being mom esque.
Yeah, and she does it so well. So good for her. Good for her. Again, it's a well-written, meaningful scene. Now we get this is the hard cut. And so they're of Kirk getting attacked by the Andorian, which is really an Orion double agent. And it's like a smash cut. Like there's no lead up. They could have had a 2-second clip of like Kirk just walking down the hall and then the attack happening. Like they skip that. It's just fight. And again, it's Kirk Fu. Like he gets stabbed and he still does the finishing kick. It's glorious William Shatner action. But it's attempted murder because it's your honor, you have presided over criminal cases. If if a criminal complaint came across your desk, what would your reaction to these facts be?
Well, if the case involving Captain Kirk came in, where an assassin just tried to give him the chop, I would say yes. Yeah, it is an attempted murder. Did the person use force likely to cause great bodily injury or death? And in this case, he attempted to do that. It's pretty clear, even though, like you said, there is a hard cut. Um, I'm always impressed with Kirk at how he's able to escape these moments.
it,
I
it,
just was
it,
like, I want to be Kirk in real life. Like
it
any
is,
problem I get, pacha.
I've been watching other Trek series, and again, I love them all for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a charm with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley that the way the big three interact, the like this family connection that they all have. There's just this charm that's extremely endearing, and Kirk Fu with again kick to the face, and then the wherewithal to call for help and actually like give real good details before collapsing. It's fantastic. But so again, we have attempted murder. Now there's a weird uh right against incrimination a throwaway line. And like they did this in the original episode, The Man Trap. The suspect's taken in and they give him truth serum.
Yes.
They mention that in The Man Trap as well, of like, yeah, we'll give him truth serum. We don't do that. And the way that they throw around those lines with such a cavalier, no civil right influence or concern, uh, kind of freaked me out. And like Your Honor, what was your reaction to? We'll just give him truth serum.
I I just was I was like, what the business? The first time I saw it. And then we've already given him truth serum and we've gotten nothing out of him.
Yeah, that. I mean,
One, it's hard to wrap your mind around people actually doing that. And then secondly, does it work? What are they using? Can they use it on different people's physiology? These are different species. You don't have no idea how that's going to react to someone. You could kill them.
yeah, there are cases from our own history that have dealt with. We don't like the truth serum idea. Like it was shot down in a variety of ways when it was attempted decades ago, ranging from the right against discrimination to is this even trustworthy? It just seems offensive on so many levels. We don't do it. Like we don't do that here. But again, throwaway line of time out. Uh, Now, the heart of this story is Spock and Sarek, and Sarek needs surgery, and we have Dad needing surgery, and Son is heavily involved in trying to figure out how do we save Dad. And for the estrangement, he's Spock's jumping through all kinds of hoops, going, we could do this test, we could try this. Dad and son are actually talking about treatment with the doctor standing there, and the doctor going like, I'm glad someone's asked me for my opinion. And again, there's so much heart with the two guys without emotion that I'm like, this is core values of Trek. But we have, the issue of, does Spock have a duty to volunteer for a blood transfusion to help Dad? And Your Honor, what's the duty to others?
I would say here there is no duty to put yourself in danger because we hear the line from Bones. He's saying, you know, it would be so much blood, not even you could survive, Spock, right? And then we find out about a medication or formula that would help Spock to create more blood, but that's deadly. It's only been tried in theory, and we don't know how it's going to work. So there's no, even when a person's life isn't in jeopardy, there's no requirement that you provide an organ or provide blood or tissue. Uh, you have autonomy in your own body. But then when you add in the other factor of, hey, this is experimental, I don't think that that's required.
We have Mom saying, I don't want to lose you both.
Right.
And so again, mom's getting very mom upset on a variety of levels throughout this episode, and justified uh all with each instance of being upset. I do question. We'll talk about the one with that I have a problem with, but she's very mom of like, no, I don't want both of you to die. So, but I want both of you to live. So we have when Kirk's incapacitated, Spock takes command and he actually does the captain's log, and which is also neat to see. Like it's Leonard Nimoy saying captain's log, and that's cool. But he's unwilling to give up command because he says, I have a duty to everyone on this ship. He articulates the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few argument, not with the exact words, but it's there. And we'll see that again in Star Trek 2, 3, and 4. So like there's a lot of core values established in this one episode. And then we have one of the most powerful scenes of mom confronts him in quarters and says, "You can turn this ship over." And he's like, "No, this is here. We have murder, attempted murder. We have a threatening vessel following us. I can't turn over command to Scotty." And we have mom say, "I will, like if you don't do this, I will hate you for the rest of my life," and slaps him across the face and walks out. And again, powerful scene of guy without emotions puts his hand on the door because mom just slapped him. That had to hurt on an emotional level, that's like worse than any phaser wound that you could get. Your Honor, is she
I
right and justified?
I think so, and I can see it was really powerful acting uh, because I mean, you could really see through his acting that he's like, all right, I already know I have a strained relationship with my dad. He's Vulcan. That's what's going to happen. It's, I disappointed him. This is only logical. But mom is the one who's nurturing and very human and loves her kid no matter what and is trying to reach out. And so she's saying, for him to lose that, yeah, that's very different. Dad steps away, that's just dad being dad. But mom stepping away, that's really hard. Also, what I thought was, why didn't Amanda slap Sarek? Right? Like, you had three of these recently and you didn't say anything? Like, this is something that you should have told me immediately, if not faster.
Yeah, yeah. The I think you couldn't have done anything. I don't see in my experience as someone who's never been married that being a good idea. Like being able to go like, well, you couldn't have done anything, so I didn't tell my wife that I've had 3 heart attacks. Pretty sure after heart attack 1, you should have said something. And is again not there's the mindset of like don't miss an opportunity to keep your mouth shut. However, with your spouse, you should be open about like I have a heart condition and this is why I want to retire at the tender age of 103. Um,
And that helped me to see that Spock and Sarek are so much alike because Sarek had a sense of duty. He probably, the doctor who gave him the medication, who treated him initially, probably could have done a surgery for him. But he wanted to do this diplomatic mission, and he felt that it was more important to more people that he do the diplomatic mission than it was for him to, say, preserve his own life. And he felt like, the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few, and I will retire after this is over. And Spock, in the same way, when we see him commanding the vessel, he says, "No, not anyone else could do this. I'm the guy." And that's really what his dad did: to say, "I'm the guy. I'm going to self-sacrifice here." So I'd like that parallel where we see how they are so much alike.
and then we get the pure humanity of Kirk and McCoy. So like, when Kirk wakes up finally and and learns what's going on, and Sarek's on the other side of the med bay listening listening to the guys he's supposed to not be comfortable with because he didn't want his son to go to Starfleet, and hearing them go like, "Yeah, I'm not going to let him commit patricide. So can you patch me up so I could fake it and then turn things over to Scotty because we're not going to let his dad die." That's pure humanity. It's absolute pure humanity. it's also a full-blown conspiracy at this point to defraud Spock into giving a blood transfusion to save his dad. And I think the facts show that, but I'm okay with it. Your Honor, you made some notes here.
I
So
I I am not okay with it. You cannot do medical procedures against people by trick. You just can't
okay,
do it.
fair, fair.
I, it's it's not only, hey, let's give you a blood sample. We have laws where we say, hey, look, if you drive a car, you're required in the state of California to provide a blood or a breath sample if you're stopped by the police and there's reasonable suspicion that you have committed an offense like driving under the influence of alcohol. We're okay with that because that's something that you agreed to at the very beginning. Here, they're having him go into a process that really could kill him. They're tricking him into doing something that could kill him. So really, that's not okay. I'm not okay with that. And it could potentially be larceny by trick. You're getting someone to give something of value, and here it's valuable because it saves Sarek's life based on some fake information.
I have a different perspective on it because I think Spock understood all the risks to himself for the medical procedure. So it wasn't tricking him to actually go through the surgery because Spock knew the risks of the surgery and knew the danger to himself for the surgery. Spock's concern was the
The
safety
rest
of
of the
the
ship.
of the vessel and everyone on board. So I still think there's some tomfoolery happening here.
Hmm.
Uh but it's Spock and McCoy, or excuse me, Kirk and McCoy not wanting Sarek to die because of Spock's great sense of duty and loyalty to to his career. And it's like, I need possibly 600 people safe. Like, I can't just save dad because he's my dad. And I'm the next person in line to keep us safe from whatever threat that we're facing.
And what would have happened if they were all red shirts, right? What if they were red shirts and Captain Kirk came out and he's like, I'm gonna be fine, blah. And then we get somebody else taking charge of the ship and the ship gets blown up. They're gonna be like, hey, Spock, why didn't you stay your post? There was no reason for you to leave your post. Um,
Yeah. And my dad has a higher chance of living if I'm still on the bridge to get
exactly.
us through this dangerous situation. So again, it's problematic, but it's pure Trek. Like
It is.
it's why people go like, no, man, no, I'm not going to let my friend's dad die. I'm just not going to do that.
And
Uh,
then with a diplomatic mission of that sort, I'm amazed that there wasn't enough blood of each of the types of foreign ambassadors that were on board. You would think that they would need to have a generic type like our equivalent of an O negative for every single species that was on board.
yeah, I mean, they do address Sarek having T negative blood, which is supposed to be very rare even for a Vulcan. So I appreciate some effort to talk about that. However, and it's a big however, you think you'd be well stocked, and you think you would have a couple other doctors on board. While McCoy is one of the best doctors out there, like we have him talking about like I've never done surgery on a Vulcan before. Like I've treated Spock for boo-boos. Like I haven't like had to operate on him. No, your Honor, and you raised the issue of is McCoy committing medical malpractice by doing the surgery? And could you share your thoughts on that?
I He did not have any type of requisite knowledge of the Vulcan anatomy to even do it. We have the nurse taking Sarah's blood pressure, and she reads it out, and he goes, "Wow, I wish I knew if that was good." Right? He's getting ready to do surgery on someone. I wish I knew if that were good. And he makes a statement. I know about basic Vulcan physiology, but I have no idea. I'd have to open him up to see. Um, and so that, along with the cell multiplying drug, it's experimental. I've never tried it. I've never seen it using. It potentially could kill you. I, this surgery could kill you. I think that at the time, that Sarek is getting the surgery, however, uh, he's faced with the idea of Sarek will absolutely die if I take no action, or he potentially could die if I take the action. And so I think that based on the circumstances of him needing, uh, action, then he just needed to do what he needed to do. He had some medical training more than any other person on ship, and so it was an acceptable risk for him to try to do the surgery on Sarah.
I agree with your analysis, because there was no other option. Like literally no other option. Like Mbenga was not on board, who they referenced as having experience working on Vulcans. So, and it's not like each ambassadorial team sent a doctor with everyone, which would make the teams bigger. Um, but also you could go like, let's staff up with three more doctors who are skilled in, if everyone's skilled in like three or four different species, we're going to be covered. Uh, we'll be okay. Um, to the point of the urgency, it's not like we're going to be there in an hour. There are specialists there. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's do or die. Like, and 100% chance of death if we don't do anything, and maybe an 80% chance of death if we go now. Okay, so the 20% chance of living, let's take the 20% chance of living.
Right. And Sarek kind of brought it on himself, right? He knew that he had had this condition and he chose to go out on a deep space mission anyway. And so he knew that this was a possibility before he left, and that's kind of the possibility that he accepted.
That, and bring your doctor. Like, if you're going to have that kind of problem of like, so this could be a thing. I'm going to take a specialist with me. And so like, either Teleri gets a trip out of this, or he's going to be doing surgery if things go sideways. So let's make this
Right.
work.
And you could disguise him as an ambassador. He's our junior ambassador.
Yeah,
He's
it's
my
just
protocol clerk, or whatever you want to call him.
yeah, or again, our medical specialist, because we travel with a medical specialist now. Okay, it's like you guys don't have anyone to work on Vulcans. We're bringing a doctor with us. So and all of that, but again, that would suck the drama out of it. We need to see Kirk being Kirk and McCoy being McCoy and Scotty fixing things off camera. Like this is, and there's a lot of Uhura in this episode as well. So like put her front and center. So again, a lot of good stuff. But for Kirk did not intend to keep command. He intended to turn things over to Scotty as soon as Spock left the bridge. And he had started that process when they get attacked. Is there hazarding of a vessel by him taking this action?
Well,
Uh,
what do you think? Is he hazarding the vessel? You're our ship guy.
I don't think so. I like because he wasn't intending. He was planning to turn things over, and I think the situation would have been worse if he had turned it over when they had started getting attacked. Because Scotty needed to be in the engine room. Kirk is the tactical thinker. He's the shrewd one. You don't want the captain leaving the bridge in an emergency. That's bad for morale overall. If people go like, "Well, the captain's dying, we're screwed." Like you don't want people. Uh, like you need the leaders who project confidence. It's think of national disasters where like a governor breaks down in tears and looks very sad and out of control. Like that doesn't make people feel good when that happens. Like, and it has happened. Like those people don't win elections after that. Like you need someone to project confidence of like it's bad, but we're going to get through it. Here's what we're going to do. And Kirk does that. And then reports immediately to sick bay with like, I'm spent, Scotty, take over. So I don't think so. I think he
He's
made the
like,
right.
Scotty, take the wheel.
Yeah, it's like Sulu, hang out here until Scotty gets up. I gotta go lay down now. I'm bleeding. Uh, So again, all good stuff. Again, it's such a wonderful episode that has so many core values of track that radiate, 60 years later.
And I just love that Kirk is thinking, hey, look, I can't fault. He says it. I can't fault Spock for wanting to do his duty. I can't do that, but I'm not going to let him sacrifice his dad. Right? There's some stuff I didn't know this was his dad until just now, and I don't know what's going on with that relationship. And he even tried to fix it. He even tried to fix the relationship. Hey, why don't you tell him about computers? I taught him everything he knows. Right? Like that's the total 60s dad. There's nothing that you can tell me. I know it all already. Thank you very much. I've forgotten more than you'll ever learn.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of boomer energy there,
Yes.
and it's speaking from experience, having a boomer dad, like, yeah, it was a thing. A lot of dad energy. But like again, at the core, the best friend's like, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm just not. We have a mom being mom in a very pure sense, and the two guys without emotions representing the best of humanity with a father-son relationship. Uh, because it ends the way that they're talking back and forth. It's like, okay, they're now chatting. Good for them. Good for them. Um, Mom unloads on them, rightly so. I don't want to hear it. Knock it off. And McCoy gets the last word. I don't know how many episodes McCoy gets the last word besides this one. There probably more, but
That's very true. I can't think of one. I've watched a lot of episodes and I can't think of one where he gets the last word.
it's because it's normally like Kirk with the playful smirk and like we're off to the next adventure. And this is it's like he was stabbed. Like he just kept everyone alive. Like he's hurting, tired, and needs to recover from nearly dying.
Right.
Spock is bled out saving dad. Like everyone needs a spa day at this point. And McCoy gets the last word. It's really sweet. So, well, with that, Your Honor, anything else for the good of the order about this episode?
Well, the one issue that I thought, that's very interesting. When we had our fake Andorian communicating with the enemy vessel
Okay.
um, while they're on board, is that a violation of the law? And
Oh,
yeah, is it a violation to communicate with an enemy combatant, providing them with information, tracking information, location information, and so if you look at 50 USC 1881H, and it's about unauthorized disclosures. So a person is guilty of an offense under that section if they knowingly and willfully communicate, furnish, or transmit information to unauthorized persons or publish or use in any manner that is prejudicial to the safety or interest of the United States or for the benefit of any other government. And here, if we equate Starfleet with the United States uh, and these other species with any foreign government, then yes, we absolutely have that. And the penalty for that is up to 8 years imprisonment, a fine, or both. And here, I'm guessing there would be imprisonment. But the kicker here is that you have to be an officer or employee of the United States or here, Starfleet Academy, in order for this section to apply. So if he didn't have any ties to the Starfleet Diplomatic Corps in any way, then this particular section wouldn't apply.
that is a really good catch because he's a spy. So on top of that, there's probably some espionage uh,
Right.
code sections being broken as well. He's a foreign agent acting as an Andorian and surgically altered to pass tests to look like an Andorian. Would take a deeper autopsy for them to figure out he's an Orion. But yeah, that's really good for because there's the espionage element, which is again very Cold War, very very Trek in the 1960s of like again spy stories or again this was the era of James Bond and
Sure.
uh, Flint and other you know cloak and dagger stories from that time period. So very good catch. Well, with
Well,
that, we'll close hailing frequencies for tonight, but stay tuned for more. We're mustering up to talk about Academy. We have a bunch of episodes identified. We still are working on more. We haven't figured out which Lower Decks episode we'll talk about. We will because there's so many good ones. Same with Prodigy, so many good ones to talk about from that series. And there's each season of DS9 had a courtroom episode, and it has the most courtroom episodes out of all of Trek because they did one a year, on top of all the other great legal issues. So we have a lot of room to play. So if somebody says like, "Hey, I really want to hear about rules of engagement or Drumhead," please, drop us a comment because there's a lot of great Trek out there that touches on fantastic legal issues and social issues.
and I suspect I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if we get 1,000 more subscribers, I am sure that Josh would be more than happy to do an episode for every year of Trek.
Yeah, yeah, like we
60 episodes this year.
oh that would be actually that'd be fun. I mean, like we call that Tuesday of being able to go like, "What'd you do?" Well, I talked about Star Trek. Like, yeah, we would. Yeah, there's again 60 episodes of Trek. Yeah, right now we're looking at
52
like,
weeks a year. We could do two in a week.
yeah, we
We could
could.
do
I
it.
mean, we're talking about at least 12 right now. So like, we'll just multiply it by five. So no pressure.
Not at
Uh,
all. None.
no, no, not at all. We'll be fine. It's proportionality analysis. It's no undue burden there. We'll be fine.
And
So
Starfleet Academy's coming. Yay!
can't wait. Again, it's we live in this era where we're getting new Trek. Like this is a fantastic time. Trek was there like through college and law school, and then we had a wilderness period again, and we've only had a short time without having like two Trek series a year. Like this is a golden age. So let's keep being grateful. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have your favorite episode of Trek that you think would be good for legal analysis, ping us, let us know, and we'll see if it's not already on the list, because it might already be on the list, and if not, we can add it. So everyone, wherever you are, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay geeky. Take care.